This is Carla Hinton reporting for the Oklahoman and NewsOK.com. I'm here in the studio with Red McCall, a volunteer for Oklahoma Atheists, and we're going to talk about the findings from the 2014 U.S. Religious Landscape Study. The findings from the study conducted by the Pew Research Center are interesting from many different perspectives. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
Well, the first thing I'd like to ask you is, what exactly is Oklahoma Atheists?
Oklahoma Atheists is a large community group here based out of Oklahoma City. Interesting fact about Oklahoma Atheists, we're basically run off of a website called meetup.com.
Okay.
If you're into biking or knitting groups, or if you like to play poker with your friends, or if you have different social type groups that you want to be a part of, there's even a lot of religious groups that are on meetup.com. Since atheists typically don't have churches, we use online media to help organize where we're going to meet up next. Out of all of the different meetup groups throughout the entire world that are atheist meetup groups, there's 1,000 of them. Oklahoma Atheists is the 5th largest atheist meetup group on the website right now.
Okay.
And that gives us, we are at 2,200 members right now, and we meet about 25 times a month.
Okay.
All over the places, all over the Oklahoma City metro area.
Okay, interesting, especially here in the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about one of the main highlights of the Religious Landscape Study. According to the study, the Christian share of the U.S. population is declining, while the number of U.S. adults who do not identify with any organized religion is growing. What do you attribute this to, or what are your thoughts about this?
It seems like to be the normal trend, especially in the information age. When people are able to look up their own answers without fear of anybody coming after them as far as in their schools or in their families or in their churches. Typically it's been very difficult for people in the church to go to their pastors to ask the really hard questions, problem of evil, why do big disasters happen, things like that. Now people can be able to go online and look up a lot of this information themselves without any kind of fear of any kind of retaliation. So it seems kind of like the normal trend, because a lot of the members that are in our group came to atheism very much the same way. They started asking a lot of questions that are really difficult for preachers, pastors, family members to be able to answer. And so it seems like the normal trend over the past several years, and it parallels a lot with internet, people being able to have access to the internet. So it's not surprising. It's taken a while for the number to get to where it is now.
Okay.
But we're obviously going to see that number increasing over the years of people being not necessarily a part of a major religion.
Okay, interesting. Now, the study was even more specific about the adults who said they did not identify with organized religion. According to the findings, people who said they did not identify with organized religion and described themselves as atheist, agnostic, or nothing in particular jumped more than 6 points since 2007, from 16.1% to 22.8%. Are you surprised at these findings?
No, it still tends to go along with a lot of the findings that we had. Pew conducted this research back in 2007.
Right.
There was other studies that have been performed not only before then, but since then, that has been kind of tracking this steady incline.
Okay.
In the rise of what we would call secularism, or people that are just kind of devoid of religion.
Okay.
Now, that's not to say that the nothing in particulars are not religious.
Mm-hmm.
They might still believe in Christ. They might still go follow the Bible, but there has been a certain rise of people not wanting to be affiliated with majority religions.
Okay.
This day and age, often when we hear about a lot of these religions, they are on the news in a negative light. They're not making a lot of positive headlines. And so it seems like a natural thing for a lot of people to not want to be affiliated with that. So even though the number has inclined and it looks like we're just doubling and doubling, we still have to account for a lot of the people that are still religious, that still believe in Jesus, that still believe in Muhammad, that aren't necessarily Islam or Muslim, or a Christian.
Okay.
But of that, we still see just a huge increase in our numbers into Oklahoma Atheists, which we accept atheists and agnostics and people that are just secular in general.
Okay.
We see a lot of people that are coming into the group, and it's been a massive growth even over the last 5 years in the group. Our group has actually existed since 1999, but had around 200 to 300 members for a better part of 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
But only in the past 5, 6 years have we seen just an absolute steady incline, and that goes for all of the atheist groups that we track, and just seeing their numbers and how our numbers relate to theirs. And it's just interesting data to see it come through.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Let's see, the findings about age and religion also are interesting. According to the study, as a rising number of highly unaffiliated millennials reaches adulthood, the median age of unaffiliated adults has dropped to 36, and that's down from 38 in 2007. What do you think about these findings and what they have to say about age and religion?
Kind of along the same lines I was talking about earlier with regards to it's very difficult for people to ask questions. No, because of the internet, because a lot of these kids are growing up with internet nowadays, it's really easy for them to just jump online and ask these questions, and to be able to join forums anonymously and ask these questions, or be able to just find a wealth of information that's both might go against their confirmation that they already have, or goes against it, or goes for it, or their bias.
Okay.
So it's really easy for people to just jump online and look at this type of thing. For people that are a little bit older, they might not have that or have developed that kind of skill yet as far as learning how to Google things. But the millennials absolutely are champions of being able to just look up their own answers.
Sure.
And being able to decide for themselves what is true, what makes sense, what seems to be the most moral thing.
Okay, okay, interesting, interesting. Well, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Read more about this subject in the Oklahoman and NewsOK.com.